first of all, I want to thank you for coming today and for providing such an opportunity to make an interview with you. So let's get started. We have several questions for you. And the first one, can you introduce yourself and tell us briefly about your field of work and interests? You can share your background with us.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Madi, and I'm glad to see you all, NU students and guests, probably. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's always nice to talk to a new community. Yes, even like being an alumni student, it's always interesting to meet a lot of interesting people. And briefly, I'm from Kentau. It's in Turkestan region. I studied at school 22, then I switched to Darin in Kentau, and later I studied at, like, in my high school, like graduating classes. I graduated from FISMAT school in Almaty. So probably you know what FMSH. Yes, and then I joined NU, studied foundation, bachelor's degree in PSIR, and this year I graduated from public policy school. Yes, and probably you had some introduction in your posts. I really, it was kind of brief points about my student activity. I was president of student club, participate in different volunteering activities, and also had this internships, part-time jobs, and so on. And later, when you'll probably ask questions, I will tell more about my experience.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you. So, why did you choose a PSIR as a major? In Nazarbayev University, we have a big list of majors. Why PSIR?
Probably for all kind of people, for all students who really were graduating high school, it was very like a major decision what profession to choose, what career path we should go. And for me, it was really kind of difficult as well, because, as you know, so being in FISMA school, I was always thinking probably my profession will be related to some kind of natural science or physics or mathematics and so on. But it was only because there were so many people around me who were studying maths and physics and trying to go to engineering, computer science, so on. But my choice was really influenced by foundation, and also I had some kind of premises, like some building blocks during my time at school. So I loved geography. Really loved English. I participated in Olympiads. With the subject of geography and English, and it was always interesting for me to kind of to know more about global economy, international relations, so on. And during foundation, it was a great year to kind of find yourself, try maths, try EAP, try to write some papers, look for your own interests. And then after foundation, I went to SHSS, so School of Humanities and Social Sciences, because I knew that first year is, I don't know how it's now, but we had this kind of time to declare major. First year was to try to register some courses, know more, like try different professors, different courses, and to find out your area of interest. And my first semester was like all these different introduction courses, like intro to micro, intro to comparative politics, calculus, and so on. And yes, and then after second semester, I really enjoyed all these political science and international relations courses. And considering my interest at school and also my professors, courses that were taught, and just analyzing future perspectives, future career path that I could go, I really kind of decided to take to declare PSIR, and I don't regret it. Yeah.
So at foundation year, you decided to choose a PSIR major, right?
Yeah, right after foundation.
That's cool.
When I went to like bachelor's to the first year.
Okay. So were you satisfied with the courses that you have taken at NU? And you also mentioned about internship opportunities and internship experience. How did these courses help you in your internship and in your current job?
We can say that I think probably all NU students could agree that there is a quite good range of courses, not only your core courses, but also there are so many electives. Kind of courses that you really can not only take because you need to study something or you need credits, but also some skills, some interesting courses related to your not your like major, but also your interests, probably hobbies and so on. So in brief, I was satisfied, and I took we were limited in credits. There was kind of time schedule clashes, but I really chose those courses that, first of all, were related to PSIR because it was the requirement to get this degree. And also I tried to choose professors who have the experience in the areas and topics in fields that I probably wanted to research by myself and to continue in the future career. So it's sad that we cannot choose sometimes there were some clashes that there were some great courses and I couldn't take them at the same time. But yeah, at the end, I enjoyed my journey in the bachelor's, and it really shaped and influenced my internship experience, and also like my future studies in masters and my job, I could say. Yeah. And regarding internship opportunities, again, you was providing, and still, yes, you have a great career and advising center. Probably, I don't know how about internships now during online, but probably you will, in the near future, you will have this opportunity to to take internships in some companies that are related to PSIR, and the list of companies is increasing every year. And this experience was again completely different from our studies. It was like, I don't know, at some point my first experience was like shock, because some courses and some knowledge that I really studied, that I gained from our courses, they were completely irrelevant in internship, in my experience. But at the same time, then later after internship, I also discovered what I can also learn, what skills I need to acquire. At the end, I mean, after getting diploma and in the future. Yes. So probably I can elaborate more like in the next questions about my internship or something.
Okay. So you were social at NU. So maybe you can give an advice for the current students. Would you recommend them to pursue an excellent GPA or middle GPA with having an outstanding social life? Or is there a possibility of balancing the two? And what was your path?
Yes, social activities are important. I would say, from my experience, it was crucial. To be honest, I was not kind of excellent student with high GPA. I tried to keep it above 3.0, because I was like kind of planning to like continue studying masters. So my general advice would be, of course, you are studying at Nazarbayev University, and the top priority should be your academic performance, I mean your grades. But it's not about grades, but the knowledge that you gain, and knowledge that you can really apply. Like I know when you are studying, microeconomics, you can know, just for example, concepts like comparative advantage, trade-offs, or demand supply, diminishing returns, and something like this. And this, even like knowing some concepts and understand them, then later you can use them in your research, in your real life. For example, you can know what is your advantage, comparative advantage, what are trade-offs. For example, here's the example of trade-off. You can sacrifice some points of your GPA, but you can have some kind of experience. And I chose this way. I really used volunteering activity, social life, being active, being president of student club of NU Red Crescent, being participating in different conferences, model United Nations, model of OSCE, all of these were very useful to me from this practical experience. I met people, many people. It's networking, very important in our field, in international relations. I also gained experience, like volunteering is also, some kind of job. You take responsibility, you do some projects, and most of the time these projects are provided by international organizations like Red Cross, Red Crescent Society. I know there are many examples at our universities, like I know ISEC, organizations like Rotary. I know many of them. MUN, like Model United Nations, also international organization. So now it is counted like an experience. It is good for you to participate in, at least try to participate and see, is it yours? Will you enjoy it? And later you can add it to your CV. And when I was applying to different conferences, different events, or part-time jobs and projects, I knew that my GPA is not the best, so to compensate like average GPA, I really presented this social activism, like extracurricular activities, as my strengths, my skills, my experience. And it's good that in our country, volunteering experience and different social activities are now, in most of cases, they are counted like real job experience. And it is very useful in your future career. Yeah. So can you hear me?
Sorry, unfortunately I disconnected from the
okay.
session. So you started, the main path was you're concentrating on hard skill rather than social skills, right?
I mean, hard skill, some kind of skills that you need in your future career is always, quantitative and qualitative skills, like doing research, analytical research, doing something like in Excel or Stata or R, like it's very important right now. So don't underestimate like statistics, and also try to develop your soft skills while you are participating in different events, like Model United Nations or student clubs or internship, so on. So they are also important for your for your CV, for your motivational letters and career.
What factors did you consider to choose in what events you want to participate? So there is a big list of events we have, like when Weekly Digest is coming. Which factors did you consider it for what event you will choose?
It was like always there is there should be priority for yourself. My priorities were they need to be related to my major. So most of events that I participated, they explicitly, directly or indirectly were related to international relations for political science. Like events like Model United Nations, Model OSCE, conferences, different guest lectures, and so on. from this point, I tried to ask people, like experts. They were experts, and I asked like some practical questions, or maybe some concerns that I had, like you right now. And second, it should be interesting for you, even if it's not related to your major. Try to see other advantages. I mean, if it's charity, you know that it is useful for networking. It's good to help, I know, for those in need. And I know I cannot explain my motivation to do some good deeds, but you probably learn a lot, and you help yourself by helping others. And my idea was by learning or by, I don't know, for participating, like being like mentor, volunteer, I always had some kind of benefit for me. First of all, it was like skills to learn, meeting new people. Yeah, and as a bonus, it was your contribution. I know, helping to children from low-income families, or helping people with disabilities is important for them, as well as it's really kind of influential to you. Yes. So okay. My idea is like interest and benefit. Okay. Yeah.
We started to speak about social projects. We know about NU Red Crescent Society. You organize several humanitarian and social projects, life protection, health. So the question is, can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea that to organize and create NU Red Crescent Society? How it shaped you as a person?
Yeah, it had really kind of, and still it's having huge impact to me. First of all, I should clarify that I was not like a founder of student club. It was already founded and operating, but I joined the team at the early stages. So you know that there are so many student clubs at Nazarbayev University, and sometimes you can find clubs that are in your interest, or there are great people in this, student organizing team. So I really tried different student clubs, volunteering club, I know, dance club, sports club, and I thought that it would be great to join some kind of, because of my major, something related to international, global movement. And I saw international, Red Crescent Society, and I saw that we have student chapter organized by Camila Roland, and then I joined their team, and we quickly had this kind of this vibe, these conversations, students meeting, team buildings, and we realize that there are so many projects and so many interests that we want to realize, to implement in real life, so that we can contribute, and as well it was like win-win. You have something, you have some activity in your free time, in your leisure time, and it's not just spending time, but it is very useful spending of your
free time. You help people. You go out. I mean, we really had these strong relationships with outside, not only on campus. We organized events in Astana with Red Crescent Society office. Yeah, and briefly, I can say that it has taught me to be responsible. I acquired leadership skills because I showed myself, participated as volunteer in some projects. Later, I had this opportunity to become the president by myself, and then to gather a new team to realize and create some projects by myself and by my new team. And I would say it is also was for networking. Like, I met so many people, so many NU students who were role models for me. There were some kind of students from graduating classes. They were students they were sophomores, they were seniors, and it was this mix of students who by exchanging ideas, by implementing these projects together, we gain a lot in skills, in knowledge, and in emotions, and in memories.
That's cool. So you were also a tutor in the project of New Social Development Fund, right?
Yes, I can say that tutoring and being a tutor, teacher, was my hobby, during my studies. I mean, I enjoyed, and I'm enjoying being mentor and teaching other people, because it is for me, it's one of the best ways to learn. I mean, when you are trying to explain something to other person, you learn by yourself. And considering this, I really always try to join different educational projects, including tutoring. And we also did this weekend school and education for all projects in our club. So we were volunteer tutors for children with disabilities, for children from low-income families. I was mentor for some Astana school, students from Astana schools. I was a mentor for children from AULs. So this recent project, Hello AUL, organized by Social Development Fund and Alpha Academy, it was about teaching English to children from from these rural areas.
This is great, really.
Yeah, it was great because the main concept of this was to provide some equal opportunities for children, and children from rural areas are always limited. I mean, if in this kind of educational matters, I mean, slow internet or maybe no access to good materials. They were Kazakh speaking children, so we had this long-term project to teach English and be some kind of mentors, be examples for them, and to show that they have all chances to study at Nazarbayev University to study abroad, the only way to succeed is like learn English, and it was not like a real courses of English like intermediate, I don't know, beginning and so on, but it was more about giving motivation to study English, to not be kind of in this bubble of AUL, but yeah, look for opportunities. There is an internet now, and especially because of this pandemic, many students now have better access to education. Yes, and yeah, I really enjoyed this project, and I also practiced my Kazakh language as well.
That's good. Yeah. Was it hard for you to be a mentor for someone young, like children, like being a big brother? So you not just teach them English, you also speak with them, right? Said about that they have all opportunities to succeed in future. So was it easy for you to be like a mentor for someone?
Probably like being I know master. I mean, I was studying in my master's degree while I was in this project, and I had this experience of tutoring, being mentor from previous years. But so it was like not kind of challenge, but it was like great hobby for me.
Nice.
But at the beginning, when we studied these projects during bachelor's, yes, it was difficult at the beginning to kind of be a teacher, to be a mentor, because first of all you need to have some discipline, and you need to have some kind of time management skills. You need to kind of provide these materials in the way that children could catch and understand, and we need to provide materials not in these conventional methods like they do at school, but we needed to find some kind of interactive, more fun way, like yeah, not traditional tutoring ways. So yes, at the beginning it was hard, but you know that practice makes perfect. The more you teach to children, the more you become confident and yeah, experienced. Yeah, and again you learn a lot yourself. Yeah, and then I understood better professors. I mean, I understood them because I was in their shoes. I then really appreciated their hard work more. Yeah,
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah, and I studied hard after that. Yeah, and got some motivation.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. Why you decided to apply for the new master's program, and how did you like completing your MA at NU? After studying bachelor at Nazarbayev University, don't you regret that you didn't take a master's at other universities in other countries?
Yes, yeah, it's a great. I mean, it's a great question for NU students, because there is always a dilemma. Like, first of all, when you like in your senior year of bachelor's, you really think, should I continue like immediately, or I need some experience, work experience, and so on. And every year, every senior student has this dilemma. And my advice for me was coming from all these graduates, all these alumni members, and also I considering all this life circumstances I had, I really decided to just continue studying at NU because I mean I had some part-time job. I had this kind of great experience at NU. I mean we have great facilities, great library, great professors, and also this public policy programs that I applied was interesting for me. And it was like in our country, in this city, so I could continue like getting work experience and study, and also doing other things that I like, some projects that I was having at the time, and so I don't regret it. Yeah, public policy school, it's nice continuation of this political science and international relations background, because it's more specific. It has more like practical implication. So when you are like political scientist, you could have some ideas of your like future career, like going to academia or join some international organization, or maybe join some, I don't know, Ministry of Foreign Affairs or something like this. But at the same time, you do not have this kind of deep expertise. Yeah, after bachelor's, you don't have the deep expertise in certain area. I know you studied international relations, you had this comparative politics, different courses, and you probably, I know, you probably even didn't you didn't have this research experience. Like not all bachelor's students like have publications in articles. Yeah, and then in master's degree, you will really you will understand more. I mean, what path you can choose. You will really, if you enjoy and if you like research, in your master's degree, you can apply all of this knowledge from bachelor's, and also new kind of specific knowledge from public policy, and implement it and write not just abstract research articles and papers, but you can do policy memos, policy analysis about current policies that we have in Kazakhstan. And it's great that it is like this kind of applied approach. So you take some policy in Kazakhstan, you do your research, and you then provide it, not only like you are stating that there are some problems, we have problems in this area and so on, but you also recommend solutions based on your evidence, on your data collection. You then provide some conclusions and recommendations that can be used like by ministries, some government agencies in Kazakhstan, especially if you contact them. Or maybe you can, in the future, you can choose certain government institution or international, or I don't know, local government organization, and really write some good master's thesis, I mean policy analysis exercise, that can be then used in your future career. Like it will make you some expert in certain field, in certain track.
Glad to hear. It is nice that in Nazarbayev University have such a master's degree.
Yeah. So public policy is like, I know, is unique. I mean, not so many universe in the world provides this kind of program. So public policy is very modern. It's recent, like actively growing field of study, and it's like this combination of research activity and also like practical experience, like working in government as public servant or as a policy analyst or policy maker in the future.
Okay, cool. So we have another question. We had an internship in such governmental organizations as the Senate and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What you can tell about your experience there? Is there anything unique about these organizations?
I can tell that organizations like Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Senate of the Parliament are, like real life experience, because it's on the one hand you had this kind of theoretical knowledge of how government operates, how politics are implemented. But when you go to internship, you'll see the environment. Like for example, in the Senate, you join these working groups.
Nice, yes.
Yeah, working groups where real law projects are discussed and edited, and then these laws really, go to the president, and they then implement it and they shape these policies, government policies. First-hand experience, but it's not easy. I would say you need to really have this desire, enthusiasm to work in government organization, because there are so many duties and responsibilities, and at the beginning it is not the job that you really thought about. You expect this kind of the idea of your expectations and then reality. So if you expect that in the Senate you will sit like these deputies, that's not that. In reality, or in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it doesn't mean that when you join there you'll be sent to some embassy of Kazakhstan in some country and you'll be a great ambassador or diplomat. No, it's very long-lasting, difficult job, and you need some work experience and expertise and desire to develop in this career path.
Okay, this is a really great experience that you have. So as I know, you closely work with the projects considering the topic of human rights in Kazakhstan. What made you choose the NGO sector for work and the human rights field in particular? Is it challenging to work in such a field in Kazakhstan, and what kind of challenges do you face? It is well known that we have some problems with human rights.
Yeah. So that is why it's interesting. For us as political scientists and public policy analysts, it is important to have some kind of influence to to not just being abstract and being this kind of distant from issues in Kazakhstan, or I mean elsewhere. So I saw, like when I was an intern, I saw that there is a system, government system, where you are like a small particle. You need to do some tasks, and there is a little that you can change. I mean, it's almost impossible for young specialists, for interns or young graduates after entering governmental organization to create some, I don't know, to provide some ideas, solutions for administration, and then really kind of change something. So it's not flexible. Government organizations are not flexible. It takes time for government to do some reforms, to change policies, and to listen to, like, from the bottom. It's always a top-down approach. Like there are presidents, there are ministries, and they really provide some tasks, and you do, and institutions should work in this way, like a big mechanism. But in NGO sector, so in contrast, you have lots of room for development, and you have this team of like-minded people, and your ideas and your opinion matters, because you kind of you sit with the team of 5-10 people, and you have these projects, and you really have this project-based approach. Like, you have the project, you have deadlines, and you need to finish this project and have some impact, have some result. And for example, human rights, you know that if there are, human rights, it's like a worldwide problem. I mean, there are so many countries, even in developing countries, you see violation of human rights. In developing countries, probably more cases of violation of human rights. But you know that you can change something, even if it's not like, at the global scale. You can do something in your community, like people surrounding. You can change something by yourself, have some impact, influence to people around you, educate them, teach something, provide some courses, do some projects, and probably it will step by step kind of you will be going to this to the level that when there are less and less human rights violation, or there is some kind of progress, like in certain field of policies. Just a quick example. Our organizations, probably you heard from my resume, but it's like it's human rights organizations that is mostly focused on educating young generation, in the sphere of human rights. So we provide courses on human rights. We do some educational projects, trainings for people, for students, mostly students, and they are
Is everything okay, Madi? So I guess Madi have some problems, so let's wait for him.
Yeah, excuse me, I was disconnected.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
nice.
sorry. So, so my laptop is actually working. I don't know why. The thing is, so you have these projects and you have these people around you, and you can, like, I know, again, one of the most efficient way to make an impact, to change something, is educate them. So if you know that, first of all, in order to have some kind of better, have some progress in human rights, many people should know what are human rights, and they should know their rights. Yes, it's the first stage. If if people do not care about human rights and it doesn't matter for them, so what's the point? But when people know about human rights and when people understand that government, for example, should provide and protect human rights, and government has this responsibility and obligation, because we signed different protocols and treaties like UN, UN conventions, United Nations, I mean, Declaration of Human Rights, conventions on like social, political, and other rights. And when government signed and ratified these international documents, it means that government has this obligation to protect human rights, to provide better environments for people. Yes, and this concept of human rights is really complicated, but in general, we people should demand this protection and not violation of human rights. And by education, young generation and people around us, we make this kind of situation better. Yes, and quickly, another thing that we do in, for example, in NGO sector, we have this monitoring mission. You know that we have elections, for example, yes, presidential, parliamentary elections. And in order to make this process fair, yes, we need observers, we need people. Many independent parties should engage, should participate, should vote, should observe election, and we need to witness and make sure that elections are organized in the fair way, and then the results are not kind of I know the results are not coming from
Okay.
from above, and it is like an important stage to improve the democratic level, yes, democratic procedures.
So
yes,
you can say that you consider you as a patriot, yes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm patriot. I mean, in the way that probably not so many people understand it in the right. I mean, in the way that I understand it. So it doesn't mean that if you are patriot, you need to be, you need to ignore some injustice and follow only one party, and, for example, provide some positive feedback to government activity. No, we need to be an objective. We know that we have problems, yes, and every country in the world has problems. Like, there is no ideal regime, no ideal democracy, and for us, it is important just to be active, proactive, to be citizens, patriots who know their rights, who know like constitution, laws, who can monitor what government is doing, and also provide some, criticism, provide some feedback, recommendations. Yes, and
I should say that, to be honest, our government is not like doing all no, is not doing like bad job or something, but there are room for improvement. There is a room for improvement, and there are also things that are working well in our country, in many sectors. It's just we should continue always to make it, to improve it and to maintain it. Yeah, and
Thank you.
third track that we do in our NGO sector is research. So we continue to do research, but more like applied way. So you take this law, for example, about this new law, for example, about recent switching e-golf. I mean, giving e-golf to other parties, or maybe, and so we analyze these policies. Is it good that some country develop electronic government and electronic services for other countries? And there are problems of data leakage, of problems of losing some political, power, or influence, and so on. And we just analyze it, and we provide some, recommendations. What is bad? What is good? What are risks? Like, we know that there are so many risks when you consider this international relations, especially when there are superpowers involved. It's important to, protect sovereignty and to have some kind of independent, independent opinion and independent way to develop. Yes, in terms of country, in terms of policies.
That's great. So now, let's speak about current days. What are your future plans? Do you plan to continue to work in Kazakhstan, or do you have plans maybe of continuing study in another university, or maybe you want to see the education systems abroad or political systems abroad? What's your plan for now?
For now, when I was having this bachelor's kind of choice of university, I was not even thinking about going abroad. I was like, I had this idea of Nazarbayev University. It was really great choice. Later, when I was doing masters and choosing between going abroad or stay, I also chose to stay because I wanted to do something here, domestic and local level. But now I understand that because of our, because of the specifics and features of our major, like political science and international relations, it is very difficult to make this kind of international conclusions or something without having this international experience. So I really have these plans to try to apply to foreign countries. I mean, probably Western universities for PhD. Yes, or probably for some internships and job. I mean, if there would be some vacancies, I'll try. Yes, but in the long term, I always consider my plans, and I set goals and imagine myself doing something important, but for our country, in our country. And it's a great time we live in, because there are so many changes, so many transitions happening, and you know that we have this lack of experts in any field. Like I know engineers, IT specialists, you know, medical workers, all spheres lack experts and specialists, good professionals. And PSIR, like political science and international relations, is no exception. So we really need policy makers, policy analysts, political scientists who know all of these kind of challenges of the world and who know the specifics and some important cultural, historical, and other details of our country, of Central Asia. And yeah, so I encourage, I invite you to join, in the future, probably there are people who are sitting in this Zoom meeting, and probably we would be like colleagues in the future. I know in government sector or maybe in NGO sector, and we'll probably really do something important for our country, for our society, for ourselves.
That's good. Yep, thank you to hear that. So this is all for all of the questions. Let's start about the Blitz questions. Did you know about that? The Blitz questions. This is small questions where you need to answer.
Short answers, yes.
Yep. So your top 3 courses at NU. At Nazarbayev.
So
you can sing.
Yeah, I would say that courses that really were some kind of had this, impact on me were political theory by Professor Caron. Second is probably like civil military relations by Spencer Willardson, and also difficult. There was great other courses and professors, but I would remember and highlight philosophy course, history and religion course, I guess. Art of War, like by Sidney Morrow. Yes, Art of War. So Sun-Tzu's Art of War was a great also course, like with really non-traditional way. It was not just a lecture, but we had really great kind of interactive assignments, teamwork, and so on.
So, can you please sum up 3 names of the course? You can say
political theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Civil military relations. I don't know. Probably Professor Willardson is not teaching anymore, but he was a great. He had a great course. Civil military relations, and Art of War. So this Art of War, Искусство войны, by this book, like Chinese philosophy and history.
So the next is political science or public policy.
Probably it would be public policy, I guess, just because public policy is a part of political science, like most specific, yes.
So 2 qualities that each PSIR student should have.
two qualities. I would say must-have would be critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
The second one?
communications, I guess. Yes.
Okay,
like
so it would be
for networking.
okay, critical thinking and communication, nice. And 3 books every political science should read. The best list.
I don't know, probably. I mean, if we are talking about like books related to our major, yes.
For every political students that must have.
So I think The Prince should be the first one by Machiavelli.
Okay.
Second one, probably again, Art of War. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And third one. So
maybe it is a book that shaped you and helped you to develop your skills that help you in your way of becoming political one.
I would say that something that had great influence probably would be the book by Konaev, I guess. Yes, it was like about my time or something. I mean, на русском это будет о моем времени. Автобиография Конаева. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, you probably know the role of Mohamed Konaev and his his life and his experience probably would be kind of very useful, like to take some insights and probably look at this person from this not only this from his political career, but also from this personal life.
Okay, so the next blitz question is, what is your life motto?
Life motto. Probably, you know that there are so many great quotes, I know, statements that shaped. But I would say that one of the most important, it's action speaks louder than words, probably. Okay. Because you can talk a lot, you can, I know, have great ideas, but if you will not act, if you will not implement these ideas and knowledge in your real life, it would not make sense. It doesn't matter. So actions, always try to use knowledge, implement it in practice, or probably do not kind of fear and do something, like trial and error, you know, try to do something. Don't be afraid to fail, but just you need to act.
Okay, if not a PSIR, what field of study would you choose?
If not PSIR, so I probably will do more do more some kind of creative, like I know, directing. I mean, directing movies.
So with design and film industry, right?
Yes, design, yes, film production, something like this, like doing documentaries,
Okay, cool.
or something like this, probably.
So thank you for answering for all of our questions. Now we can proceed for Q&A session. If anyone is sitting here have questions for Madi, Khanafiya, you can speak out or write it down. So I guess Baurjan write one question. So I will read it. Hello, did you have any language course at your MP? And did you that ability? Maybe did you have that ability?
MP is like master's program, I guess. Yes. I mean, yes, in masters we don't have these language courses, but in bachelor's we had, but unfortunately I didn't did great. I mean, because of circumstances. I took Arabic language when it was taught by professor, yes, in the first year, but then professor left. I mean, she moved to to other university, and there was no continuation to these Arabic courses. So my level was this kind of beginner, and I didn't manage to learn it by myself. But I have this kind of some not finished taste, and I probably will do something about this in the future. But in terms of languages, I probably would really advise you to like master your Kazakh language. So because it's important now, you'll have more like opportunities, and you'll have advantage in your future career if you'll know your native, I mean, your mother tongue and our state language.
Okay, so I guess
I have a question.
Okay, Darina.
Okay, Madi, thank you very much for answering all the questions. It was really, really useful. I have a question more about the public policy area, and especially the master's program at NU. So I heard that it is quant heavy. So I just wanted to ask, how did you feel yourself, especially doing like quant data analysis? Do you are you continuing to do the same thing? How useful was that? And thank you.
Thank you, Darina. It's an important question for us because there is a stereotype that political scientists are not about numbers, or not about mathematics and so on, or statistics. But you know that we have this quantitative research, and it has really great, I would say, application. And it's difficult to have this statistical analysis and so on in your research, but it has more impact and probably will save many time. You'll need just some statistical regression probably, and just analyze it rather than conduct so many interviews and surveys and so on. So from this point of view, quantitative methods are important, and yes, try to, even it's hard, try to pay attention to it. For me, it was not so difficult because I'm having this background from physics mathematics school. We really had this good foundation of mathematics and statistics and probability and so on. And when I was studying in bachelor's, I took not just like not only electives from SSH, I mean from social sciences and humanities. I also took calculus 1, calculus 2. I also tried to do, game theory, linear algebra, and so on, because I understood that anyway, it is important to calculate and to work with numbers. And during master's degree, yes, and it is very quant heavy. I mean, we did statistical analysis of data. We had this, courses related to probability, game theory, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and so on. All these courses require, the skill, like computational skill, math skills. So I would say, do not be afraid. There are great professors. For example, at MPP, I should highlight Professor Howie, who teaches microeconomics, for example, or Professor Lothi, who teaches statistics, or Professor Bari, who teaches like game theory and macroeconomics. And they all really try to, provide this information for like in the way that is not kind of difficult for students from this social science and humanities background. So even if you have some difficulties with maths, practicing, doing their assignments, doing their tasks, and also just paying attention during lectures was helpful. Yes. Regarding current implementation and use of statistics, yes, I'm not like doing some research, heavy research using data and so on, but I use Excel, Google Sheets in our job, because when you collect all these survey responses, for example, or for example, you have a large number of people who answered to your survey, to your interviews. It is one way to, it is good like just to analyze, like in terms of qualitative approach, just analyze answers and doing some conclusions based on say words, but it's totally different experience when you try to, group answers and using some, statistical formulas, and you'll have the statistics which tells you more about your research. For example, the percentage of people who are, who vote and who went to elections, or the percentage of people who went to elections and voted to certain candidate, or for example, but the attitude of people towards certain law project or policy. And it's one way to know, like, their, it's bad or something like this, but you'll need to know the number of people to get this general picture of like the majority or the minority are thinking this or that way. Or for example, how many people really know their basic human rights, for example. Yes, and depending on this, like relying on this statistic will really help you to further, do some specific research, or probably to have some new insights in your in your work, in your research, or just for yourself. Always it is good to measure something, to provide some evidence like, yes, in combination with numbers, because it will be more convincing, it will be more reliable, rather than just cite some sources and so on.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes.
Okay, so do we have other questions from our visitors?
Yes, you will always have this, I know, opportunity to ask directly, for example, because you probably do not have questions right now. Probably they will appear in the future while you're thinking about applying to masters or doing some internship and so on. So, you know, you can always reach me, contact me, like in Instagram or by email. Yes, and I will always be happy to answer to all your questions.
Okay, that's cool. So I want to say thank you, Madi, for spending your time with us, for answering our questions, for sharing your experiences. That was a great evening. Nice to meet you. So thank you and have a good day. Bye.
Yes, thank you too. Yes, good luck with your studies and choosing your future career path. So, yes, and yeah, you are great students. Goodbye.
Goodbye, thank you.
Goodbye.
Thanks everyone for coming. Just a little note, you will have the recording posted on our YouTube channel if you need to rewatch the session.